This is Chris Hansen.
This is TJ Hushmanzada.
Chad doing Rip City Radio here.
This is Jamie Hudson.
And I need to let y'all know something. You're listening to.
And you're listening to.
It just makes sense.
This just makes sense.
It just makes sense.
Woo! Way better than Chris Hansen.
Yeah, seriously. I want to get involved in the rigging of Fat Bear Week.
In relationship to Fallout Boy.
Oh, Fallout Boy. People are.
Oh, Jesus. Oh, my God.
I'm sorry. Yeah,
Oh, we got it.
cut that.
Like, someone should hire you to be a protester. 4 bills dead weight. They're not getting you off that
They
court.
look at me and I'm like, I fucking dare you.
That's what I'm
I
saying.
dare you.
I mean,
A
like,
tractor, there's nothing that can.
They gotta be forklift certified.
Oh, I can't be a Cowboys fan because of this moral high ground that you are on. Bite me. Eat me.
Bite me. Eat me. I mean, gosh.
I'm so sorry to everyone that we just did that to.
Everything I just said before that, I just made that shit up.
Small enough and dumb enough.
Small enough, dumb enough. That's what we want.
That is It Just Makes Sense. Look at that little fat kid. An NBA champion.
Those are some sweet memories.
A young Nikola Jokic. Just.
Who would have thought?
Not me. Not me. Congratulations to your 2023 NBA champions, the Denver Nuggets. Yahoo.
Wow.
Which puts an end to the misery of this season. And one step closer to the end of this season.
What a boring finals.
Yeah, kind of was.
4-1.
One of the most boring I think you've seen in a while.
So we were talking about this before we started. Would you have rather, because it's nice to win on your home court. You know, all the fans, the elation. I think that it heightens the experience a little bit, right? When you're on the road and you're the only ones cheering or whatever, you don't have maybe everyone with you. You certainly don't have your fans. However, the flip side of this series is that you could have done it and won in Miami and gone out in Miami with the clubs, the nightlife, the people, the everything. So, given that, would you have rather, if you were the Denver Nuggets and you were on that team, have won in front of your home crowd or in Miami?
You're assuming these guys all crave to go out.
True.
You don't think these guys are spending time with you think they're
Yeah.
aching to fucking go out clubbing?
I
Good
think
point.
they'd probably want to be at home with their family.
Yeah. So I'd stay home.
I think they're very happy that they won in Denver.
Look at us. Because I totally agree. I mean, that is the most, like, it's a boring answer, but I agree. I absolutely 100% agree with you guys. Rather it be like that.
Sounds like you wanted to go to Miami.
You can still go out and party. I'm sure anywhere they go in Denver, they're going to be treated like fucking royalty.
Like royalty.
And then, at the end of the night, they get to go home to their own bed.
True.
What's better than that?
It's true. Them's trues.
And it's not like the wife's going to be calling and be like, where you at? It's getting late. You just won an NBA championship.
All right. I'm sorry I even asked a question.
Yeah, fuck you guys.
Where
What
are
are
you
you
going?
doing?
He's gone. Watch your step.
Cord.
Cord. All the cords. Where's he going?
I don't know.
He just left.
He's pooping. He has to be pooping.
Yeah.
I
He's just
haven't
gone.
seen him move like that in years.
I guess we'll just wait.
No, let's continue.
I guess we'll just have the Jeopardy sound. Doo-dee-doo-doo. Which leads me to my next point. We're going to be saying goodbye to Pat Sajack.
Wow.
Pat Sajack, done after 41 years.
Is the show over? Or are they
No,
gonna
the
replace
show's
him?
never going to be over.
It is a great show.
It's a tremendous show, and it will live on in infamies. And I am curious, 1, who the next person is going to be. 2, is that like not the cushiest job as a game show host?
It is. I mean, all the pressure's on Vanna.
You think?
Oh, yeah.
Well, Vanna, when she's done, I think that Pat Sajack's daughter is going to take over for her. She's been going in Vanna's stead. See, you got up, and now the whole mic stand is messed up.
What is that called?
Nepotism?
Yes.
Yeah.
I almost said narcolepsy.
One and the same.
Yeah,
at
it's
this
called
point.
narcolepsy.
Narcolepsy. One and the same.
But who's going to replace old Patty? Aaron
don't know.
Rodgers?
No. Well, I mean, if you're thinking about the Jeopardy side of things, because they got cute and they put Mayim Bialik as one of the hosts. And
For
then,
Wheel of Fortune?
No.
For Jeopardy.
For Jeopardy,
Yeah.
right. So,
But Aaron Rodgers was being considered for the job. People
Right.
had tossed his name, whether it was serious or not, in the ring for that job.
sure. He did a good job.
He did do a
He
good
did
job.
do a good job.
But-
But Ken Jennings is way better than even Mayim Bialik or
But
anyone.
Aaron Rodgers he could fit as any game show host, especially Wheel of Fortune.
You think? I
He
feel
can
like he
read.
would be too dry for Wheel of Fortune.
Ooh.
He's too dry. He's not like. I think that you need a little bit more.
Are you saying the contestants on Wheel of Fortune are a little dumber?
I wouldn't say that at all. I just think that like
I definitely would.
No, I
They might
see.
be.
It's a little bit more loose as a game show than
It
a
is.
Jeopardy.
It's loose as can be.
yeah, I mean like you're looking for like great huge personalities and everything, and I just don't know if like Aaron Rodgers would keep up with that.
That's true.
But okay, so we've talked about
Let's
the
get Michael
hypotheticals before. Maybe that would be a little awkward. So okay, so we've talked about what game show we'd want to be on, but flipping it on which one would you want to host? Which game show or any reality TV show?
Family Feud.
You'd want to do Family
I'd
Feud?
host Family Feud.
I think I would probably do like maybe a little less involvement for me personally, like a Deal or No Deal.
Okay.
Like all you got to do is be like, oh, they offered you $50,000. What are you gonna do?
You
Deal
think
or
a
no
deal
deal?
and no deal host is less involved? You're talking to the bank the whole time. The whole
That is
fucking
true.
time you're talking
You
to
have
the
to know
bank.
interest rates. You got to know what
That's
the
true.
APR is. You got
That's
to know
true.
if
I
it's
didn't
fixed.
think about the bank.
Yeah. Okay, so I want you guys to consider this then as well. What about the job, anything that like Andy Cohen does with any of, I know it's not
Bravo?
on Bravo. There's also something to consider for you, a big Survivor guy. You could be Jeff Probst. You could be out there in the middle of Fiji. What about what's his bucket from The Amazing Race? That's a
think-
pretty cushy job, I'd say.
I disagree.
You do?
I think that's
Too
not-
much of a grind.
Yeah, you're traveling constantly. You have to be have an in-depth understanding of the games and the challenges, and some of those challenges are difficult. You have to track everything, who's in what place, who's in lead, whatever.
But you're good at explaining things, though. You're a good explainer.
Sometimes.
Talk about involved. The Cheaters host.
Yeah.
I mean, you're risking everything.
Yeah,
sure
you're
are.
gonna get shot probably.
If I had to
Yeah.
choose, if I had to gun to my head choose one, Jerry Springer.
Oh, sure.
I'd want to be a part of all the
That'd
weird
be
shit.
fun.
You are an incredible instigator.
He sure is, yeah.
That would be or Maury, like the olives and all that shit. Yeah, I would.
The olives and all that shit. That is what Maury is known for, the olive bit.
You're afraid of olives? Why? When there's no olives, bring out the olives. Just make people fucking cry.
Oh, good.
I also think being the host of The Bachelor, Bachelorette would be kind of fun. Because, like, it's mixed. You get travel, you get a little bit of drama. You just, like, get to sit back being in all these, like, lavish places that they're going to and just, like, watch people, like, break down mentally in this, like, social experiment.
For those same reasons, I think TJ Lavin has one of the best jobs because
Dude, he's got it made.
he
He's
gets
got it
to
made.
kind of torture these people, but the people he's torturing are like incredible athletes. So sometimes they can achieve these incredible feats, and he gets to watch that, or he gets to watch the epic failures.
Fail miserably, and he laughs at him.
And he can twist and pull and do whatever he wants as far as the strategy throughout the game. and he's living comfortably. Everybody loves him on the game. Nobody
Right.
speaks negatively about him. They all love him,
They respect and fear him.
but he can do whatever the
Fear
fuck he
him.
wants.
Fear TJ.
And it's fun to watch. I would take TJ.
TJ Lavin.
That'd be fun.
Yeah. We could also be this guy. His name is John from John Breaks Bad News. This came across my TikTok feed recently, and I wanted to bring it to you guys. A possibility of just like changing our entire podcast. We could be John from John Breaks Bad News.
Hello?
Hello?
Hi, is this Dondre?
Yeah.
This is John from John Breaks Bad News. I have some bad news from Ty Chow.
What?
Ty hit your cat, but it's okay because it didn't feel any pain. It was dead instantly.
That's not okay.
I mean, no, I know. It's bad. It's kind of what I do.
Well, that. Oh, damn it.
I'm sorry about your cat, bud.
His entire shtick is people write in or call in to him, and he essentially, like, his whole feed, he's breaking people cheating on each other news, breaking dead cat news.
This could get dangerous.
Yeah.
Also, is this like second date update? Like,
Sorry about your cat.
are we sure it's real?
Who knows? But I like the idea of it.
It's a great idea.
Is anything on the internet real
Yeah,
anymore?
I know.
No.
What is real?
Nothing.
What is actually real? And
I'd
it's
like to assume it is. That's a good bit.
couple of things that are not real. Whatever's happening, are you guys pro or anti Apple VR headset? Are you guys yay or nay? Did you guys see this is coming out? The brand new,
Isn't it just
goggles that are
like the
coming?
normal VR that's not Apple? But it's
the Apple-
$3,500?
Yeah, the Apple ones have like a bunch of sensors and all these things so you can see through it. The other ones, you were immersed completely. There's a lot of different things that Apple claims to be that much better at. But in the end, it is still kind of a VR headset. They're trying to push it to the business folk first, in which you can have these, virtual meetings with one another. It's all very silly.
I mean, can you blame Apple, though? No matter what they put out and how expensive it is, people buy it.
It's true.
$3,500 though.
And I do think they're...
So that seems absurd right now, but remember, if you just go back 15 years ago, $1,000 phone would have been fucking crazy.
Yeah, it's true.
And also, I think that Apple is trying to appeal, and I think has always tried to appeal, to that class of people who have enough money to be like, oh, I only get, like, the nice thing. Like, I wouldn't buy the $400, VR headset.
I'm just waiting for the
but
Apple
if
one to
Apple
come out.
comes out with a $3,500
Yeah.
VR headset, of course I'm going to be first in line to get it. Like, there is a certain class of Americans, and I think there's a lot of them, that would be more willing to buy it because it's $3,500 in Apple rather than,
A few $100
Google
bucks,
and
yeah.
$300.
It's like because of the
get that.
price tag, it's guaranteed to be better than this one.
exactly. Even though the features might be few and far between.
Also, I think it would be very hypocritical of all three of us to sit here and be like, $3,500 is absurd. We all have $1,000 phones.
That's true. And this one, I mean, is very much a
and,
$3,000
and don't get me
laptop.
wrong, I would entertain a $3,500 VR headset.
Would you? I am so just like anti-headset. I'm not trying to go like
But
Ready Player One at all.
That's
when
what it
comes
is.
to it.
It's not the money. It's not your thing. If it was your thing, you would buy it.
Yeah. I'm just hoping that it's just no one's thing. Like I just don't want technology to go that direction. Is
Oh,
all. Like my old hat is coming on and saying like I do not want this alternate experience in my entire life.
Well, and I think a big part of Apple taking this step is where Apple goes, that's usually where technology and trends go.
But, you know, I guess, but, I mean, Mark Zuckerberg tried it already on his side. Are they just, I mean, he's just no Apple, essentially?
Yeah, I mean, Facebook is kind of looked at as something that's for, you know, racists and old people. Like,
Yeah, these days.
That's not where young people are going towards, where Apple is viewed as a very hot commodity.
Also, I think that is a company big enough and smart enough with such deep fucking researchers that you don't just come out with a product for that price if you don't know that there's a target market for it. I mean, this was years in the making.
Yeah.
And their target market might not be you, but you are their target market because you'd probably look at a $200 Dell laptop as something that won't work for you. You have to buy something like this.
Right. I mean, I have to have this because of the type of job that I have. I mean,
You have a
in part.
personal MacBook.
I do have a personal Mac.
Would
but
you go get an HP?
No, never. Because I do video and I do...
Point
That's
made.
not the point at all. I work
But-
in a creative industry.
But again, it's generational. You are not the demographic they're going for when they're putting out this VR headset. They're going after Brody. They're
True,
going
yeah.
after kids
Going
who
after the next
like
the next folk.
like Jera's nephew. He has the I forget what it's even called, but he has the VR headset from Facebook or Google or whoever, and he uses that thing four times a week.
But that
and plays with friends and does the whole thing.
that folds into my point is we were the target market for a certain product that they have.
Exactly.
Just like that one.
Exactly.
And you would also sit here and give reasons and excuses as to why you have a MacBook or why we have an iPhone. It would be the same thing as when Brody's 10 and he wants that $3,500 VR headset and you're like, well, he uses it for school. He uses it for this. It actually benefits. It brings a lot of value to what we paid for it.
I think right now, it being $3,500, especially in their release, they were not advertising it, though, to the kid. A lot of their promotion and everything was geared toward the working professional. But maybe eventually it will be a little bit more.
I think also
promoted
it's
to those
it's
things.
kind of a given that people assume, okay, VR, you're going to be able to do a lot of gaming. I think their point is to market it as more than that, because that's what everybody assumes, at least from my opinion. But I do agree with Miguel that I think they're also, they're going to push technology to fit with the products they have. So it's going to become more educational. It's going to become more used in the workspace. It's going to become more essential for these, post-pandemic reality of having to connect with people at home, across the world, whatever it may be.
Just in the 5 minutes that we have talked about this topic, we have come up with several uses for this VR headset, and they're smarter than us. So
No
if they haven't thought about this, you use it for Zoom interviews, for sales meetings, for connection with people, and educational purposes.
I don't
And
want
games.
it. I don't want it.
All right,
I do not.
beats out.
Yeah.
Beats out.
No, and I honestly think that Apple made their VR headset not because it was like, maybe there's a degree of it being part of the future, but I think that it's in part was they have so much FU money that they wanted to put something out, even if it was after all of these guys, just to saturate the market in Apple products and just get rid of the other stuff. But
All right.
that's me.
That's the get unwoke take.
We've
This
got
is the one person on Facebook going, well, I'm going to stop supporting you.
That's me. That is me.
Hashtag get unwoke.
Yeah. Hashtag get unwoke. I do love that when people drop that line. It's like, you don't think that you have been brainwashed? People possibly brainwashed into making their own countries, circa a la what's his bucket? Better Call Saul, that was featured in one of the episodes where some guy made his own city. He seceded from the Union and he made his own city. Do you remember that? I think it was season 2 or something.
I do
Call Saul?
remember
Which-
that.
In Better Call Saul?
Yeah, and they were trying to build a development around his house or dig for oil or something like that.
Yeah, and so he had his own country that he made. There is a guy by the name of Randy Williams. He is a radio DJ in San Diego. He has created his own micronation. The radio station that he works at in San Diego is a slow jam station, and he has called his own micronation Slowjamastan.
What's happening?
Is this just like for fun or?
Yeah, I don't know.
Like,
He
do you have to get
sounds pretty
permits?
serious. He says, there's just it's not, you can never just like officially do it and be recognized. So he's kind of living in his own little fantasy world. Randy Williams, self-appointed Sultan of Slowjamastan. Yes.
So
Do
it's
you
a
have to get
monarchy.
licensed? Do you have to get a permit?
He basically just like
All
bought.
it is permits, I'm sure.
He just no, I mean, he
Dude,
just bought his
all about
own.
permits.
He bought a plot of land outside of Southern California, and he named it officially the Republic of Slowjamastan.
That's fuck you money. That's when you don't know what to do with your money, so you try to create some shit like
How
that.
much was it though?
I don't know.
Micronation, easily couple mil.
Yeah, you've got to assume.
Yeah, I mean, especially in
What's
California.
the shittiest plot of land in Southern California? I mean,
I don't want to be there wherever it is.
He said that his mother recognizes him.
His mother?
as the Sultan of Slowjamastan.
I don't like this guy.
Yeah, he sounds like he's doing it for sex purposes.
Possibly.
I don't like how his mother's involved.
Yeah, it is kind of weird. I don't know if his mother was involved in this, but he
And
created.
who loves slow jams that much?
He created his own national anthem to the tune of Elton John.
And I think it's gonna be an awesome place. This country brings a smile to your face. Inside our nation, you are never alone. Oh, no, oh, no. It's this Slowjamastan. Slowjamastan is where I'm from. This is my home.
Jamistan.
And I think it's gonna be an awesome place. This country brings a smile to your face. Inside our nation, you are never alone. Oh, no, no, no.
Anything is possible, really.
Anything is possible. Now I believe that.
Anything is possible.
Yeah. Now that I've seen this.
Yeah, there you go. That's all I've got.
Jamistan.
It's gonna be in your head. I don't know if he's got the seasoned assist there.
Be an
from-
awesome place.
I refuse to let it get in my head. It's not happening.
It might
All right.
be
Suit yourself.
something you try out, your own micronation.
I don't like this guy at
For a
all.
man with micro
I
penis.
still do feel like he has ulterior motives that are unclear and unclean.
Unclear and unclean.
He seems creepy.
He does. I will be honest.
Yeah. Would you guys try this out at a sporting event? This is a man of not the most athletic capabilities at a soccer match being asked to do an obstacle course. Okay. Off the trampoline he goes into the seahorse, whatever that's called. All right, there he goes. Now he's running. Now there's these wheels. Bam!
Oh, man. What do they expect out of this guy?
I mean, what do you expect out of anyone? It's like American Ninja Warrior meets American Gladiator. There he goes again. Wherever that mascot is, what is that?
A bagel?
A loaf of bread? Now he's up a ramp, and he is about to fight with these.
He can't even get up.
Well, there you go.
Get up, dude. At least show your strength now.
He's worn out. He's a minute in. He is just totally. There he goes, finally. Now he's talking junk.
Talking junk.
He's going to blow out his... Oh!
Oh, no.
Yeah! I jumped on him.
What the fuck is going on?
I don't know. We can stop it there. I don't know
Is he
exactly
gonna get
how
in
it's
that
going to end.
rocket?
Yeah,
Don't
play
stop
that
it.
shit. Play that
Don't
shit.
stop it. Get in.
This is supposed to spin around, isn't it?
Yeah, it looks like a little cement mixer. Can he fit? He's smacking the guys. He's not getting in.
You pussy.
He's not getting in.
He missed the ball.
He's going for the other goal. All right. So he didn't get into the cement
Ah,
mixer,
God
which is a
damn.
big old bummer.
That was very
What a-
painful to
what a
watch.
tease.
Yeah. Could you do that?
Do what?
I think I could do better
What
than that
was,
guy.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I could do that.
All right.
At this current shape I'm in, I think I could do better than what he did.
Agreed.
I'd still be winded, but I wouldn't like.
What about you,
fall on my
Pete? You
face
think you
like
could? Probably not, or what?
I would probably miss the shot at soccer just because I'm not very good at the soccer.
Yeah, that happens.
But I think that I could. I think I could do all those things. Yeah.
I bet I would do that obstacle course faster than you
You think so?
currently.
No, I disagree.
I've seen
Should
you.
we
but-
I
set
mean,
one up?
yeah, you want to arrange, you want to sanction an obstacle course
I think we
over
should.
our off period here?
We should.
Do it.
Let's go to like one of those
Go to like the park or
sky
whatever.
zones or whatever.
Oh, or yeah, like trampoline land or something.
Yes, that has like the big jungle gyms.
the big jungle gyms. It's got the cheese pits and all those things where you have to like crawl
The
through.
cheese pits?
What the fuck is a cheese pit?
You've never called it that? The cheese pits, like the big foam pit.
I don't call it a
a
cheese
cheese
pit.
pit?
Yeah, that's
That
what we
sounds
called it
gross.
as a kid. You called it a cheese pit because they look like little pieces of cheese. Big foam pit. No?
I never.
I was the
called it a
only one
cheese
on that.
pit.
Just a foam
That's
pit.
a foam pit.
Okay, so let me cheese pit.
No, you're not gonna prove your point. We know what you're talking about. It's a
Right,
foam
I
pit.
just want to know if I am the only
A
one.
cheese pit is a pit of cheese.
I suppose. Okay, so if I type in cheese pit foam,
Cheese pitted olives. No, you put cheese pit foam.
Yeah.
I
take
did. Okay.
foam
So
out.
let me get rid of foam. Maybe Google knows what
Oh,
I'm
yeah.
trying
Well, you
to
already
do.
gave it the
Well, now there's just a restaurant called the Cheese Pit.
exactly.
There you go.
Well, so that's just bad SEO on my part because
Oh, on your part.
Yeah. It's the internet. It's the internet's fault.
It's the internet.
Okay.
Is there anything in the Google?
No.
images?
It's all
Just a bunch
cheese.
of cheese.
It's a bunch of
cheese
cheese.
pit.
All right, I will concede to that point.
Thank God.
I'll concede to that point the same
That's
way.
mashed potato with gravy
We got mashed potato and gravy before
in
we
the
even
middle of
got
all the cheese.
a bunch of. Well, I think that's pie with cheese as well. Oh my gosh, why would you put pie and cheese together?
It's pretty common.
Ancient
in the
pairing
Midwest.
tradition or a la mode travesty?
cheese
Asks
pie.
Nibbles.
Yeah.
Nibbles wants
I feel
to
like that's a
know.
Midwest thing. You put cheese on your apple pie.
Oh, cheddar cheese on your apple
Okay,
pie.
now you're just making it up. There's no way. Cheese
Yes.
on apple pie.
I am not.
On apple pie.
You saw something weird and you instantly blamed it on the Midwest.
Oh my God. Gouda offers nutty, caramely notes that'll lend themselves to apple pie quite nicely.
Ugh.
Parmesan is just as nutty, but turns the salty factor up to the max. What?
Why do
People
pe-
put apple pie or cheese on apple pie?
Yes.
It's just like a big slab of cheddar cheese.
That's disgusting.
There's no way.
Yes.
I would suggest that if we were still doing punishments, but if people are doing that on their own, it must be good. Okay, so we need to try that this summer as well. After we have our
Why?
obstacle course, we will celebrate with a cheese and apple pie.
Wow.
At
What a
official,
great reward.
At official IJMS, if you have ever tried this,
I
tell
feel
us
I
if
feel
you
like
thought it
it's
was
something
good.
you're gonna try and be like,
Yeah,
it's
you might
not that
like
bad.
it. You might like it.
All he eats now is apple pie with cheese.
Yeah.
It's really
What
concerning.
do you want for pod night?
Started as a joke.
Okay, so would you go this, which is just like unmelted cheese, or would you want it nice and gooey?
I think you'd want it melted.
I think I would DoorDash something else.
That's not an option.
How
Yes, it is.
how long until you'd have to go to the bathroom after this one?
I would eat it on the toilet.
Oh no. This is something that I did not know could exist.
That's gross, bruh.
Yeah, I mean, I've heard of cheesecake. We've all heard of that, but this is cheese pie is a very different variety.
I would
Very
rather
different iteration.
dive into a cheese pit than eat this.
We have our first spit take of this season, probably of the whole show.
Gotcha, bitch.
It wasn't even that funny.
It wasn't that funny.
I had to cough. It was mid.
It was a comedy
It
of
was half
errors.
cough, half laugh. Sorry.
Half cough, half cheese. Half cough, half cough.
Jesus Christ.
Can you
Yeah.
can you take this off the screen?
Yeah, I need to take it off the screen. Okay. Bye-bye, cheese, and...
I don't like that I now know that.
I know. It is not... At official IJMS, let us know if you have tried this, or if there is another food pairing that you think is really good.
Spaghetti and tuna fish?
Yeah. No thanks. But you know what's also a travesty is not just cheese on pie. It is the fact that the LIV Tour and the PGA have teamed up. This is a bit of old news, but it broke right after we had recorded. Actually, the morning after we had
Is this
recorded.
the universal sign for a merger?
Yeah, it's something.
Merger.
I don't think so.
Moija.
What do you call this then? This is a merger.
Yeah.
That's like sex in some countries.
What's this? Merger with a
That
mudge.
was great.
Merger
Great for our
with a mudger.
Spotify listeners there. But your guys' take on this, I'm interested, one, on why you think it happened. I've read some theories as to why it did. So, initial reaction, and then we can talk. We've got a lot to talk about on it.
Money.
My reaction is that this is great. I think that the professional golf has not been more talked about than it has in the last 3 years. Since this whole LIV thing has come about, golf has been super prominent in the media scope. Golf has not always had that. In fact, it's never had that like it has, like I said, in the last 3 years. So I think this is overall a great thing. However, if I was a PGA player who stuck it out, and I forget the commissioner's name,
Jay
Monahan. And wrote, especially like a guy like Rory McIlroy, who really stuck his neck out there and really, because Jay Monahan, he called out the 9/11 stuff. He really called on a lot of things to really pull on the heartstrings of the PGA players, of the supporters, and really made this a us versus them thing.
Super political issue.
Super political, super personal, super emotional type stuff. And for him to then backdoor this and take this deal and almost kind of get a promotion that now he's running this Super League. If I'm one of these guys, especially if I was one of the guys who got offered the tens of millions of dollars to go and play for LIV and said, no, I'm not going to do that. Not for myself, not for my family. I'm gonna take a moral step forward with the PGA, and I'm going to stay away from the money, and I'm going to do the quote-unquote right thing. And then for Jay Monahan to do this, I would be so pissed.
Yeah.
So fucking pissed.
He's the real villain out of this whole thing. Like, the hate that PGA players have towards other PGA players that made the jump should really go towards him.
Agreed.
Like,
Yeah.
he made them look like idiots. Like, imagine if you're one of the guys that turned down $500 million.
Sure. Yeah.
Because you're siding with the good old boys, and then all of a sudden now you're all... It's like he created this problem, this divide, and then he's like, well, now I want to end the divide. I want us to be all one big happy family. And it's like, dude, you created the fucking thing to begin with.
And it's pretty easy to see what the issue was. I mean, the PGA had obviously faced this issue, and their solution was, hey, we're going to start paying, our players more and making sure that more people get more money during these tournaments. So it's worth people's time. They're not just coming away with nothing, or less people are coming away with nothing. And they realized that, wow, we're not going to be able to make this last for, another 2 decades or however long. And they realized that the Saudi fund that's the money behind this thing, with that kind of money, we can go for 100 more years.
Yeah.
And it's like, it's inevitable.
They were never going to out-litigate those guys.
No, never.
I mean, there were reports about how they were having to dip into reserves and all this stuff. And I just kind of wonder how much, foresight that some of these guys had, where they're just kind of like, or maybe even if the PIF, whatever this fund is called, if part of their pitch was, listen, like, we're eventually all going to get back together. Just come take the money now.
Yeah,
because we're
wait?
like, I mean, we're going to be able to outspend these guys. We've got billions upon hundreds of billions of dollars. And eventually we're all going to come back into the same fold, and, there's going to be some tension, but, it'll just all smooth over at a certain point. And it's interesting, that, some of the concessions that are being made is like, oh, in order to make this right, is that some of the players that didn't take the money will have interest or vesting stake or ownership stake in this new league, whatever. Will it ever account for the $500 million that a guy would have turned down? Who knows? But I do think that it creates this, a lot of tension that maybe shouldn't be there.
Well, it kind of creates just a wider divide between the players that was already existent but kind of untalked about. I think that now this kind of forced back together, and this kind of, we were smarter than you, we saw ahead. Because it was one thing when it's like, oh, our league is better than your league. No, ours is better than yours. Now it's, hey, we made hundreds of $1 million while you were over here with your thumb up your ass.
Well, yeah, and I mean, like, there was an interview that Bryson DeChambeau had done with CNN where he was like, oh, I was working off of, like, different or better intel than other guys. He's just being so smug about it.
Yeah, and it just makes them all look dumb. And I think that's, maybe not more important than the money, but these golf guys are prideful.
Yeah.
They do not like looking stupid. And this Monahan guy really made them all look stupid.
Yeah.
I don't think that's going to go well.
I mean, I think that part of the problem is that a guy who is fighting against looking like a hypocrite just doesn't come out and say that circumstances change and I will own the hypocrisy. So, I mean, he's just the walking example of the walking definition of a hypocrite.
The shitty thing he started is he created the divide. He brought up all these other reasons as to why they're not on board with LIV, and then he had players go after each other. So now you have somebody like Phil Mickelson, who a lot of people respected. Now he's on Twitter like bashing PGA players.
Yeah.
It's like, that's not a good look.
Yeah.
It's like now they're going at each other's throats when really it started with this motherfucker up top, and he created this
He pitted
fight.
them against each
Yeah,
other.
like, come on, man. Like, now Phil looks stupid. People that used to respect Phil don't respect him anymore. Now people think Rory looks like an idiot. It's like,
but
started from the top.
It's interesting because, this is when you think about like the concept of time and how long not just the PGA has been around, but, just anything in general. This like 2-year blip will fade.
Yeah.
Right. Like this will fade off into nothing. And a lot of these wounds, which are fresh now, will just be kind of just a paragraph in the history. Right. And so when you think about a guy like Phil Mickelson, who was vilified, who was the face of this LIV League, like this is best case scenario for Phil. Phil, who had gone and basically gave himself like a scarlet letter and was like unable to like maybe have this after golf career in which he was going to be an analyst and, where he was loved by so many people. Those people will come back to him. Those sponsors will come back to him. And I think it's like, it makes him look incredible. And and we've met Phil. We saw him as media members. And,
we did.
And he was an incredibly likable guy. He was so nice.
And I think that this is his moment. There's not very many times in golf where you can stand up and kind of point your finger and laugh in people's faces, and it's okay. It's such a, respectable game, and you have to act a certain way. It's not very often that you can be like, you guys are losers, I'm wrong, you're right, all that bullshit you said, you can stick it up your ass. Mm-hmm. And Phil Mickelson is in that position. So I don't want to take that away from him, but it is a little odd in the golf space for people to be acting kind of immature, I will say. I am kind of excited for it to go back to normal.
Yeah.
It was fun, but the reality is that the fans win. You get to see all the best golfers playing together. Maybe it's a little bit more exciting now. Maybe there's a little bit more competition. Maybe we see some different stuff with team play, and that's exciting. And that's going to be great for the game of golf. There's more money behind it.
And there now, I guess, to a degree, there's a little bit more built-in rivalry that maybe didn't exist.
I think that competition will stay. I think it's a matter of how long specifically people that stuck with PGA, hold on to that grudge. Because that's not something how quickly could you let go of the fact that you're not one of the guys who took $500 million and this motherfucker did, and now you guys are paired head to head.
Yeah.
But
and it's can you easily forget that? You are a fucking sucker for not taking it, and he did.
Mm-hmm.
I agree, but I do think that there is a little bit of a gray area, because you can take that anger out on Monahan, because he's the one who took that opportunity away from you.
Yeah.
It wasn't these guys. They just took the risk. This figurehead is the one that told you. So I think it might help that they can take that anger out and be like, it's his fault,
and I think,
not these other
and
guys.
I think eventually they will.
Yeah.
Right? I think that it's still so fresh now. But when they are in a players club or they're traveling, they will eventually find this scapegoat, and it will be Monahan. He will leave in shame, and this will be his mark.
I think logically, if you're thinking logically, he's the one to blame. But in the middle of a tournament, when Brooks Koepka is talking shit to you,
right,
you're not thinking Jay Monahan. You're thinking,
that's true.
Fuck Brooks Koepka. Mm-hmm. Fuck Phil. You're head to head.
But that's good.
Yes,
that's what
it's
we
great
want
for us.
Yeah,
and I guess real life example is what happened with Brooksy and Bryson DeChambeau. Right, those guys hated each other. They were so annoyed by each other's existence, but they both got on LIV. They're boys.
Yeah.
They love each other now.
They're
so
good.
you'll see that happen, and it's interesting too because part of the reason why maybe you didn't go to LIV was the idea that you would be taking blood money. Well, now it's all blood money, right?
Yeah, I've always hated. That's such a hypocritical take. It's so stupid. It's such a stupid take to have that someone like Jay Monahan fucking put in your head, and then everyone believed it. It's you're taking blood money by joining this league. It's we all got fucking blood in our hands for everything we fucking own. It's who cares?
And I think now, and we don't have to get too deep into this, but it is something to be said that this Saudi fund, I forget the actual name of it, and these individuals that run that, this is a huge first step into,
the PIF, the Public Investment Fund.
Yes, this is a huge first step for the PIF to show that, again, to get back to the sports washing, which was kind of brought up a lot when this first happened, is now these guys are going to be, the PIF is, chairman of the PGA Tour, not necessarily associated with Saudi involvement or anything like that. So I do think it'll be interesting to see what this first step kinds to lead to. Are they going to be owning football teams or taking over like tennis or other sports leagues that are kind of
Well, apparently
quote-unquote
the
small?
next thing they're trying to get into is an NFL team, all those other things too.
I'm very curious to see how that goes as it broadens to more popular sports.
Yeah. Well, that's where that's at with the LIV and PGA and whatever it's going to be called.
They should buy the Blazers.
Yeah. We shall see. We can talk a little bit more about, we've got some NBA guests. I did want to talk about LIV because I didn't want to bury that conversation. So let's go ahead and we can get back. We started out talking about the NBA. Your finals champions, your final MVP is Nikola Jokic. I am interested, one, about just, I mean, it kind of caps off the Nuggets season. I mean, kind of the way it was going. I know that the Boston Celtics were the betting favorite, but when you saw this Denver team, you know, it's interesting when sometimes the better team loses, but in this case, you know, at the end of the year, the best team won. And then I thought it was really interesting, too, what happened earlier this week in just kind of the debate about Nikola Jokic, something that we had talked about. Stephen A. Smith, you know, he is on First Take. He comes up with his hot take, and then trying to defend himself away with it. And then here comes J.J. Redick. Oh, come on with it. Here comes J.J. Redick, who just absolutely knocked him down.
Hey, I get you. Here's my counter to that. Jokic isn't known for having some kind of dominant post game now. That's not his game.
Hold on a second.
It's not his game. He's not a dominant. Is he a dominant post player?
Hey,
is Jokic a dominant post player?
Stephen A., we've got 10 years of tracking data. You know what the number one most efficient half-court play is in 10 years across the NBA?
What?
A Nikola Jokic post.
What is it?
There you go.
Whoa.
Boom.
Whoa.
Boom. Hold on, wait.
Time.
Boom.
I'm
done.
You're talking stats.
Oh, can I respond? I got it. Listen, y'all know what I'm saying, man. Listen, Nikola Jokic got such a beautiful touch. He reminds me more of a McHale than a Shaq is what I'm trying. You understand the difference that I'm saying? Y'all know the game now. You understand what I'm saying? No, I mean, McHale was something special, 10 feet and in, and I get it. But I'm just talking about drop step, dominant. I mean, when you look at Shaq, that was another level.
I wrote it
I'm
down.
not trying
No
to say he doesn't have
post-up
that.
game.
Nikola Jokic beats you a multitude of ways because his touch is just unreal.
Is he getting dominated by two Duke guys?
Yeah, he sure is.
It makes it even more beautiful.
It's funny how the true killer for Stephen A. is when people are just silent.
Yeah.
When nobody says anything. He just kind of talks himself into a knot.
Incredible.
These media guys who are not former athletes, they must hate fucking JJ. For like the same reason that some of us love
prepared.
Yeah, because JJ has like facts and data to back shit up. And it's like, what does someone like Shannon Sharp or Skip or Stephen A. do at that point when you're like, oh yeah, we have 10 years of data on this? He's like, well, you know what I mean.
Yeah. You know, he's not a McHale.
Up until like statistics were heavily used, it's not like they didn't have that information. It was just like who was more dramatic, who was louder, and that's what people loved. I mean, original First Take, obviously, we didn't care what the fuck they talked about or if it was accurate. It's just how they did it. But it is funny to see somebody who has like just an ounce of charisma and actual facts can dominate Stephen A.
It's crazy what facts will actual stats and facts will do for you when it comes to hot takes.
You know what I'm saying, though.
Yeah, you know.
Well, hold on just 1 minute.
Perk, is that you with sleep apnea?
That's what he should have gone back to.
I fucking love having JJ as an NBA analyst.
He is good. And he's done just the right amount of stirring the pot.
He has really JJ has embraced this villain role throughout every stage of his career. He was a villain at Duke. He was not as big a villain in the NBA, and he's like, I kind of miss when I was a star, and that's when everyone hated me, and I feel like that's what he's doing as an NBA analyst. It's like, oh, I'm just gonna go against the grain and call people out.
He's doing a great job of disguising it as he's a sidekick. You know, he's there. Everybody wants him on the show.
Yeah, but you know one thing that I like is that there's not too much JJ.
No,
there's just enough. Like he's not just like
he hits his marks.
Yeah,
he hits his marks.
And he's not just like on ESPN 24 hours a day. So there's not too much overexposure.
He's like the guy who spits on you, but he's next to a guy that you hate more.
Yeah.
So the guy gets the blame. JJ's like, well, you can't hate.
That happens to me all the time. What a relatable.
Yeah, you can't hate me. I'm not sure if people should be able to hate Zion Williamson after what he has found himself in.
That guy has put himself in a fucking blender.
Do you think that it's like our business? I guess like the fact that it played out on social media or whatever. I'm just kind of like wondering.
I'm sure he wouldn't want it to be our business, but he chose the wrong people to be mixed up with.
Yeah, and there's like, here's another thing, like, how come you're not getting NDAs on these people?
To be smarter.
He's young.
Almost every NBA player is doing what he's doing.
Yeah.
He just didn't go into it as smart as everybody else.
I mean,
NDAs, pay him off before. You know, if you don't want to hear shit, you have to take the proper steps before it gets to the point where they're tweeting screenshots of everything you're saying. The fucking wiring them $20,000 or $50,000. Like you gotta keep all that shit under wraps.
I mean, that's the thing is like about a secret James Harden baby. I know about a secret like Gary Payton 2 baby, right? But I mean, it's like that's as far as it goes. We can indicate, allegedly, but like it doesn't go beyond that. It doesn't get like totally aired out. We just like. To your point, we all know that these players do that.
Yeah.
And it is remarkable the receipts that some of these girls have.
Yeah.
I mean, he really pissed off that Mariah girl.
Yeah,
like,
sure
she's
did.
fucking angry.
I will say, though, that I did feel a little satisfaction in being like, I knew he was doing some of that shit. the bathroom full of Coca-Cola bottles or whatever she was tweeting about. Did you guys see that?
No.
She was
Enlighten me.
She was like, this fat ass, his bathroom is full of Coca-Cola bottles. Mm-hmm. All he does would sit in his bathtub.
Or like he's not trying to get in shape.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And that he would just drink soda all day, calling him a fat ass, all this stuff. And it's like, no. Did we all at one point say, you know, he's not playing as well, not looking so great. What is he doing at home?
Yeah. Well, that was how he's getting his cardio for a while. But,
yeah.
You know. And then awkwardly, he's at this like charity event where he's giving all these kids like he's paying for like a new technology center or something like that. But like a little, maybe cancel it. Maybe like push it out closer to like next school year or something. Just don't know if you really want to.
Overall, though, you got to feel bad for the guy.
Right.
That happened to me. Obviously, this is small potatoes compared. But this girl in high school, when Facebook was just like kind of getting its run, she blew me up on Facebook, tagged me. Braxton is the worst because I made out with some other girl. Totally put our shit on blast. My aunt, my mom, my sisters, everyone. Not fun.
And then they hit you up about it.
And you fist bump your buddies. You're like, two of them, huh?
Dap them.
Yeah, dap them up.
Got to.
Dap them up.
Got to.
Very similar to what I'm sure Zion is going through.
Yeah, very similar. Neither of you have ever recovered.
He just made out with the other one, and she's fucking pissed.
And recovered from it.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know if Chris Paul will ever recover. No, not a great segue. I was trying to say I don't know if Chris Paul will ever recover.
Chris Paul banging multiple people too?
If he'll ever recover in Phoenix. It was kind of funny because like as the week goes on, last week rumors about Chris Paul saying that like his kids were getting bullied because like he can't win a championship, and then reports coming out that Chris Paul was going to be cut or traded or something from Phoenix as well.
Chris Paul is a free agent currently.
No.
Yes, he is.
Yes,
Is he a free agent?
He's out of Phoenix.
Yes, they got rid
He's
of him.
currently a free agent. That's why there's trade rumors happening everywhere.
He's going to Portland.
Well, how could trade rumors happen if he is...
Oh, not trade rumors, like where teams
Where is
he
he
could
gonna
possibly go.
I thought he had one more year on his deal.
No,
He's a
gone.
free agent.
Chris Paul...
Gone.
Oh my gosh, I'm not usually like hot like that on it, but maybe I was.
Dude, it's fucking
You're in the food
chef
business
store.
now, so
Chef store. Chef
Chris
store.
Paul signed a 4-year, $120 or $120 million in 2023-24. Paul will earn $30.8 million while carrying a $30.8. This year he has a partially guaranteed deal.
Look it
He's
up.
still under contract.
Look it up, Pete.
Chris Paul.
Free age.
Chris Paul, free
don't look
agent.
up MTV Challenge free agents. That's completely different.
He wasn't on that.
Maybe
No, so this is what. Okay, so this is where I think that the rub is.
What's the rub?
The rub is that there were reports from Chris Haynes that the Suns have waived him.
That's what we saw.
Yes. There were also reports from Shams and from Woj in which they were exploring all options and that they had until a certain amount of time to make that decision. As such, the decision...
So they didn't wave back.
The decision hasn't officially been made. But it was kind of funny that there was this tweet where it was like someone had quote tweeted someone and says like Woj says Chris Paul is waived or that the Suns are exploring options. Shams says the same thing. Chris Haynes, Chris Paul has been murdered by the Phoenix Suns. It was just like a totally different message. And so that's where I think that our issue is right now, is that everyone's assuming that Chris Paul is going to be waived. He likely will be waived. He has not been waived yet, in which all of these things as him being a free agent would come into play. Yes.
Also, the reports came from probably the 3 opinions that you trust the most in the NBA. So
right.
It's not something that you're like, oh, people are speculating it. Like, it came from those fucks.
Right. But I guess so. Where we were at was like saying that he was a free agent when he hadn't yet been waived. That like going into this offseason that he was,
and
that
either
his
way,
contract was up. That's how I was interpreting it.
If he's going through all this, do you think there's a chance he goes back to Phoenix?
No, not at all.
0.
No, he's going to Portland.
He's going to go to the Lakers is what will end up happening, which would be ironic considering all of the things that happened, when he was on the New Orleans Hornets and that whole trade that was blocked about him going to the Lakers. So it'd be kind of funny.
Yeah, so now let's bring him
that.
to the Lakers when he has nothing to bring to the table.
Exactly.
When he gets hurt every playoff run.
But I mean, hey, one of LeBron's, best friends right there on the team with him.
Bronny Jr.'s uncle.
You're just adding, at this point, another guy that could get hurt at any time.
Who will get hurt.
So now you have AD,
like a statistical
you have
fact.
Chris Paul that's going to get fucking hurt.
Yeah. I thought it was kind of funny when Frank Vogel, we're talking about the Chris Paul dynamic here, when Frank Vogel in his introductory press conference is saying that, I can make DeAndre Ayton a star. And maybe he's just saying that similar to the way that Darvin Ham was talking about Russell Westbrook, right? He was like, oh, yeah, we can make this work. But we all knew that he was talking out of his behind.
All this speculation and like where players are going to go, it's like Chris Paul could go to LA, to the Lakers. Dame could go to the
Miami.
Lakers, go to Miami, go to Brooklyn, and they're doing the projecting starting fives. Ayton could go to the Dallas Mavericks or to Portland. Like, apparently Portland's fighting hard to get Ayton. And then an interview with Dame showed up today, and it was like, I don't really want to go to the Lakers because of the way they handled Russell Westbrook. He's like, they had Russell Westbrook coming off the bench. He's like, that's a fucking Hall of Famer, and they didn't treat him well.
Yeah, it was that interview that he had done with Showtime. I thought was a little bit cherry picked. They were saying like, oh, Damian Lillard says that his first choice would be to go to Miami. I mean, he didn't exactly say that. When he was saying that, like, oh yeah, Bam is my guy, and he was also saying like, with Mikal Bridges, yeah. So and then Chris Haynes comes out with the report, and I believe this one obviously because they are very close friends. That Dame doesn't want to go to Boston, so no deal between Jaylen Brown and Damian Lillard.
Well, Dame also had a Instagram live where he was talking to people and he's like, yeah, man, I'm not going to Boston. And Jason Tatum was watching and he goes, we get it, man. You don't want to come here.
Yeah, it's all right.
And he's like, now you guys got my boy JT talking to me on here. He's like, God damn it.
Yeah. Do you guys think that, and we'll talk about NBA a little bit next week, as well. But do you think that we'll see a lot of fireworks in the off season?
Yeah, absolutely.
It's kind of
the Blazers number 3 pick. You have the Victor guy. There's so many pieces that could be moved. You have especially at this point where stars are just moving around wherever the fuck they want. There's no guarantee Kyrie will be with Dallas. There's no guarantee that LeBron will be with LA. I mean, they could all get moved around, and everyone could look different next season.
Yeah, I think as far as Portland too, like you mentioned with their position with the 3rd pick, I think some exciting things are going to happen for the Blazers.
So,
I think they're going to be fun to watch this
Braxton,
next season.
do you think that Dame has played his last game as a Blazer?
I hope not.
Would you? I have a bet going on right now with one of my former coworkers about Dame playing his last game. I say that he has played his last game in Portland. So I am wondering if either of you want to take me on that bet as well.
I say no. I say he plays at least one more season.
With
or
Portland.
he at least starts next season with Portland.
Okay, so you want to put like $20 on that?
All right. I'll add it. You're saying he's
I'm
done
saying
with
Dame
Portland.
is done with Portland.
Okay.
Yeah, I think that at this point we have seen the last of Damian Lillard in a
Doesn't
Blazers
even
uniform.
suit up.
Yeah, it is. I think that he is traded this offseason.
Now, is there a technicality to this bet where he shows up to a game wearing a Terry Porter Blazer jersey? He's technically wearing a Blazer jersey.
Sure, yeah.
but
He is not being paid by the Blazers anymore. He's not being paid
damn it,
by
Miguel.
the Blazers. Don't try and find little loopholes here.
Asterisk.
If people were losing their GD minds, though, I think it was last week. It wasn't like maybe 2 weeks ago when.
Hold on, did you just really say GD minds instead of goddamn minds?
I did. I don't know why I censored myself.
That
on
makes
that.
me want to punch you in the face.
Their goddamn minds. When someone pointed out that Damian Lillard's house was for sale. Bum, bum, bum.
Because he's building a new one.
Because he's building a new house. Yeah, he's been building a new house for like the last 2 years. It's like twice the size, but people were all up in arms.
So why do you then believe that he's played his last game as a Blazer if he's building a new house?
Because I don't think that he foresaw that 3 years ago when he started building that house. It's not like I thought it was interesting when DeAndre Hopkins posted a video of him walking out of his house in Arizona that was like still very much in construction. I think that he wasn't building one, but he had gutted the one that he had purchased. And I'm like, did you really honestly think that you were going to be there that long to where like you could have like bought a house, redone the whole thing? And it was like, well, just on to the next thing. But like a guy like Damian Lillard, where you're like 2 years ago, 3 years ago, maybe when you start in on this house, thinking that he's going to be there forever. So,
and he will be.
He will not. He will not be there forever.
If you're a professional athlete though, and you go to a city, do you just live where you're living and think, this might be temporary. This might not be permanent. Like, at some point, no matter what the deal is or what could happen in the future, don't you want to make your house a place that you want to live in? So, like, I kind of understand why these players do renovations or they add shit because, like, this is my home for now. And I'm not trying to think too long into the future, no matter where I could go, where I could be traded. It's something I'll address when the time comes. But right now, like, I want to make this my home.
Yeah.
And I don't want to make it be like a temporary apartment style, like, oh, we might not be here forever, so let's not get that. Let's not do that. Especially if you have the means to do it.
Yeah, there's a couple of things. Number one, it's depending on the location. So I guess in a way I can kind of understand why DeAndre Hopkins in Arizona would want to have a house there, right?
A lot of athletes work out off season.
Stay there and all of that. There are realtors who help these NBA players outfit them in houses that are already that they would be renting, but obviously like have all of the furniture and everything is set up, and they're paying the premium for these gigantic houses. So I don't fault the guys for doing it, but after CJ McCollum is traded away, after Myers Leonard is traded away, I mean, both of their houses lasted here for like 1 or 2 years before they were sold. So I don't know. It's like millions of dollars that you're tying up.
Nobody wants to buy the Myers Leonard house.
Yeah.
After that, it's tough sell.
He hadn't said what he had said at that point, though.
Yeah, but now it's labeled as an AF.
People saw it coming.
They may have.
And CJ doesn't necessarily want his roots to be away from Portland. He still has a fucking vineyard here.
He does. Yeah, I mean, he still does stuff. But I mean, he did sell his house. It was that Street of Dreams house that he ended up. That was when you were gone. We were talking about it. He bought a Street of Dreams house.
House talk.
Kind of basic, yeah.
Speaking of which, I'm going to be going to the Street of Dreams for the first time this year.
Get the fuck out of here. What?
I'm going to be running a booth.
Really?
Running a booth.
All right, for your
rich people sport court.
Sport court.
Yeah,
How
we
about
have
that?
a sport court on the Street of Dreams.
Nice.
Installed. We're going to be out there. Oucha.
Did anyone that you know build that sport court?
Anyone that I know. I know all the people that built it.
You're
Chuck,
famous.
John.
Yeah.
Matt.
Riley. Nice.
Ted.
So you can hook us up with sport court or with Street of Dreams tickets then.
Probably.
Nice.
Yeah.
I do like.
I've never been. Is it fun?
It is fun.
Okay.
Yeah, I do enjoy it. Yeah, you
would.
Of course. Yeah.
Peter's like, I don't like the backsplash on this one.
I do say that. The layout's a little clunky.
This credenza, not for me.
Not lit.
Not lit.
Not lit. So lit or not lit is Lionel Messi going to Inter Milan, Miguel's new favorite MLS team.
Milan.
Lit. I was very surprised at it because
Anything
I just
that
thought,
go against the Timbers.
Yeah, I thought that just players who were washed up come to the MLS. But
where is Inter Milan?
Miami.
Okay.
So I guess like geographically it makes sense.
Inter Miami. Inter Milan's an actual football club.
I don't know why I said Inter Milan.
Yeah, I
Inter
was gonna
Miami.
say,
Inter Miami.
Yeah, my bad. I think that you had said Inter Milan in a tweet.
Never.
Okay,
I
so
know my
I was
soccer.
just mistaken.
No, you bet on them.
Yeah.
Yeah, I did bet on Inter Milan on Saturday.
So,
But
I confused myself.
I told Jordan when he comes to town, I wanna come, and he said that I can go with him. And honestly,
you're gonna hold him to that. You probably should.
I am. To go and see the greatest soccer player of all time. I'm not a huge soccer guy, but Lionel Messi, that's different. That's a whole different level.
Do you know all the details? Apparently, he turned down $1.6 billion
from one of the Saudi leagues
from
or
one
whatever.
of the Saudi leagues
Yeah.
to go to this because the promise is when he's done playing, he can have a percentage of the team and Apple, I think, as a sponsor.
Dang. All right.
It's like maybe Foresight, you can make way more than $1.6 billion. Obviously, he knows what he's doing. But
Well, I think there is some logic into doing kind of an American tour. I mean, obviously, he's a worldwide phenomenon, but having this year or two that he plays in the MLS.
I mean, every club would sell out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's in town. Like, that's
Absolutely.
crazy.
And he's going to get a ton of American advertising deals. He's going to make so much money, and it's only going to make him more what's the word? Like profitable and marketable in the future for, when he's not playing soccer.
The thing that I don't get that seems very vindictive or like hypocritical to me by U.S. soccer fans, because U.S. soccer fans, like the real hardcore ones, are like, soccer needs to be big in America. Like, Americans don't understand how beautiful the sport is and all this shit. But I've talked to a couple people about Messi coming to MLS, and they're like, I fucking hate it.
Oh,
it's
sure.
so. I'm like,
Yeah.
but why? This brings notoriety to MLS, to soccer in America.
Yeah, that's a
Does
huge
it not
contradiction.
make it huge?
I think that especially for me, when Beckham came over, for instance, Beckham had a little bit of tread left. He didn't have all the tread.
But the name is still there.
Right, the name is
brand
still there. Messi still has, I feel, still has a decent amount of tread, which is interesting. This isn't like I'm a washed up,
I would say
global superstar who's coming to play.
He's maybe a step ahead of where Beckham was in his career.
Yeah.
I don't think they're as far off in their career points. I mean, Messi's been playing since he was like 14, 15 years old.
Someone like Messi with little bit of tread left is still that much better than MLS players.
And that's so true.
Exactly. And he's still a little bit better than European League players. So imagine coming to the MLS. He is unquestionably the greatest player in the MLS. He has now put himself back to that point that he was within the European leagues as somebody at his age. So I think being able to do that, to step to a point where you're making just as much money and now you're again the unquestionable best, that's a pretty cool step forward to make in your career.
I just don't see how you would hate this move as an American soccer fan.
No, it's incredibly
make
hypocritical.
sense. It doesn't make sense at all.
The contract that Messi signed is estimated to be between $120 and $150 million over the next couple of years. That is astronomical when it comes to some of the salaries in the MLS.
Oh, yeah.
The average salary in Major League Soccer is around is under $500,000.
Jesus.
Some guys who are just coming up into it are making under $100,000. So I do think that it is pretty crazy when you the difference between player that may be on the field at any given time.
Well, and he's gonna. I mean, not that he wasn't already a household name, but yeah, I think this break into America to the people that didn't know him, although they're few and far between, they're definitely going to know who he is now.
I don't know if we have more about Messi, but I did want to bring this up because we did start as a gambling podcast.
Yeah, we did. Yeah. The final thing that I'll say about the guaranteed compensation, right now, I think that the highest paid athlete is at $8.1 million. So by MLS, I mean, you were talking about one player commanding almost 10x anyone in the MLS. But
that's what his name is worth.
Yeah.
That's crazy. But there's a bet on Denver. So you remember the Chargers Jags game? Was it Chargers Jaguars where the Chargers were up by a lot at halftime?
Mm-hmm.
And someone had placed $1 million bet that was a minus fucking 50,000 or something like that.
Exactly.
And the reasoning behind it was, for small time bettors like us, they're like, why would you put $1 million to win 11,000?
Right. That's what it was.
That's
it was
crazy. That's barely any profit. But the argument against that was that is a way quicker, like a easier and faster way to make money than the stock market.
Mm-hmm.
You're making $11,000 just like that in an hour.
Yeah.
So,
I have that much money. It's basically a guarantee. I'm just going to get.
And they lost.
Yeah. And
right.
They ended up
so that's
losing.
why they got ridiculed for that. There was, with Jokic, obviously Mr. Triple-Double. I mean, he was at minus money all finals, all playoffs. He was sitting at minus 20,000 odds to lead the NBA Finals in total assists. And Jamal Murray averaged double figures in assists. 10, 10, 10, 12, leading up to tonight's game. Leading up to tonight's game, Jamal Murray was at 42 total assists, and Jokic was at 32. And the odds tonight were Murray minus 3,000 and Jokic plus 2,500 or something like that. They each had 4. Jamal Murray obviously had more assists, but there were several people who placed bets on that minus 20,000.
Uh-oh. Because that was a sure thing.
And obviously, if you're placing money on minus 20,000, you're not placing 250. You're placing...
Yeah, at least 20,000.
I mean, way more. 21,000. But for you to see some sort of profit, you are in the 100,000s or millions to make that money, and fucking lost. That's got... I mean, I know it's
hurt.
more painful for us to think about, but for somebody that has like $1 million to play around with, would be us having $50 to play around with on like a big bet, whatever. But
well, you played around with a little bet tonight on Bam Adebayo.
Yeah, my only win in the month of June.
When you're talking about disposable income,
What a
you
fall
put
from grace.
$2 on Bam Adebayo's being the first scorer in general, or what his method was.
No, just in general.
Just in general. So he was at 0-0, made it 2-0.
Yeah,
and that was at plus 500.
Yeah, 112.
Yeah. So there was another one that cashed on Adebayo's first bucket in general. This one at plus 3,100 to be a layup in Game 4. Someone put $806 on a layup to be made by Bam as his first, and at plus 3,100 that yielded almost $26,000 in return.
But hey, now
806 is quite the number.
That's usually like how much they have left in their account. It's the
it
same way
in.
that I would have like $7 left on my fucking account.
They're betting $1,000 units.
Yeah.
They go, I'm getting pretty low, so I'm just gonna throw 806 on there.
But hey, I know you said it's a fall from grace, but NBA's over. I have nothing to bet on until football starts. My money lasted
long time,
like 11 months. And now the only deposit I'm going to make is when football starts.
What are you going to start with? 200? 500?
No, probably bigger because I'm going to do some futures. I'm going to do like a Jalen Hurts MVP, a Philadelphia Super Bowl.
Start your season off with $1,000.
Yeah, you might.
I would really like to see you.
For futures, I can justify putting $250 on a bet that's going to last all season. Like for a game that's a little bit harder to swallow, but if I'm putting like a Jalen Hurts MVP for like $200 or $300, I could do that.
So what we need to figure out is what is the total amount that you're willing to lose over the football season. If it's $5,000, whatever, let's start the season, put that entire amount into your account, and then you can't add another dime.
$5,000. I don't think I've ever had $5,000 in my DraftKings account.
Yeah, well, next season is a whole new season. We're gonna have a whole new setup.
It could.
Yeah, it could.
It could.
Then at the end of the season, we see where you're at.
Yeah, start out with your first future bet being where Dalvin Cook is going to be. Waived by the Minnesota Vikings. Right now, odds per team. The Jets at plus 350. The Dolphins at plus 375. The Bears at plus 500. The Dallas Cowboys rounding out the top 4 at plus 525. Interesting.
How about the Jets won? They have 2 really good young.
They do
backs.
have 2 really good,
but they're
young
young
backs.
and they're not on big contracts, so they definitely have the money to go and grab him for a year or 2.
So who's the Vikes rocking with?
The other dude with dreadlocks.
Madsen?
Yeah.
Madison? And they're going to fuck with Justin Jefferson. I really hope the Vikings don't tank. Like, I need that guy to do well.
Yeah, we shall see.
You're already counting him on your fantasy roster?
Yeah. At least one of them.
Well, next week we probably won't even talk much sports, will we? We'll just kind of round. I mean, we'll still talk sports. We can't help ourselves, but it will be.
Yeah, we can talk some football. I think
a lot of football.
We're all ready to talk some football.
We're all ready to turn the page.
Did you see the new Madden cover?
No.
I saw it was Josh Allen.
It was Josh Allen, and it sparked up all kinds of shit.
Right, you sent this in our group chat, I think.
Well, I
didn't
sent
you?
a different thing digging at Josh Allen, but the cover, the response was, this was a perfect opportunity for Madden. The headline was Madden always gets things wrong. It was a perfect opportunity for them to have the Kelsey brothers.
True. Yeah, they could have done
Jason and Travis Kelsey, they like showed the preview what the cover could look like, and they're like, why put a guy who the NFL's been pushing to be MVP that's done nothing?
Yeah, and so
I mean, they've been pushing for this guy to be like the face of the league, and he has failed in the last 2-3 years that they've been pushing him to be the greatest guy the league's ever seen.
It is pretty remarkable, yeah, because again, like the Bills are always right there at the top of the betting favorites as well. Josh Allen, top of the MVP conversation. There's this graphic that Miguel had sent that says how it started. It has a picture of Josh Allen's mug. It says MVP 0, Offensive Player of the Year 0, First Team All-Pro 0, turnovers 0, Madden covers 0, and then the opposite side, same categories, and it's just 0 MVPs, 0 Offensive Player of the Year, 0 All-Pros, 112 turnovers, and 1 Madden cover. It's very much cherry picking on stuff, but yeah, it is kind of funny when you think about, he's just the same Josh Allen. He just got facial hair. It's kind of weird.
And on the flip side, being on the Madden cover isn't the best thing.
No.
Yeah, it's a curse.
It's a curse. So now he's on there.
Thanks, Alex.
So you just sent Alex just your Venmo code with no context whatsoever?
I just said thanks. Denver Nuggets. At least I won something.
Yeah.
50
So
bones.
next week, last week before our summer sign-off, and then season 4 will start right around the start of football season. Very exciting. And plus, we can't be out in this heat here in the garage. Now we've been relegated out here. I think this is our first summer or the first spring out in the garage. It's rather toasty out here.
Next week will be our last episode before break, right?
Yes.
And we usually do like a best of.
Yeah, we'll throw some.
Next episode, I'll be 30.
Woo!
Fuck with me.
They
I will
will.
not do
Your
that.
bones will be brittle.
That's true.
Yeah, phantom pains and all that.
Yeah.
That'll be happening. You should move to Slowjamastan.
You think?
No, don't do that.
Well, clear eyes.
Full hearts!
Can't lose.